Big Friday. And in sports, motorbike rider Ross Branch wins stage 3 of the Abu Dhabi Challenge. Interpreting in sign language is Winelo Ntole. Good evening. The President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, has assured the 6th United Nations Environment Assembly that Botswana continues to make strides in responding to the call to action on environmental conservation. He cited several efforts made to implement alternative renewable energy resources. He therefore appealed to developed countries to fulfill financial pledges to allow developing countries to implement sustainable development projects. Batami Malawi.
The Environment Planet of the World meets here at a time when about 3.2 billion people, or about 40% of the world population, is said to be suffering from ecosystem degradation, requiring immediate action. President Masisi has therefore affirmed that Botswana has not been spared the impact, such as prolonged periods of drought. However, the country remains committed to ensuring sustainable use of the environment.
As part of implementing the energy policy and renewable energy strategy, my government has made the decision to increase renewable energy penetration from 2% to 30% by 2030. In 2021, the Government of the Republic of Botswana approved the integrated waste management policy with calls for a paradigm shift from the linear to circular economy concept, which promotes waste recovery, reuse, and recycle.
African leaders have called for financial obligations to be met.
Recognizing the efforts that Botswana has done and is continuously undertaking, it is in this context that Botswana pleads with developed countries to fulfill their financial pledges under the Climate Change Convention so that developing countries like yours and mine can access the funds and vigorously implement projects that enable sustainable development for planet Earth.
Last September, Kenya and the Africa Union Commission convened the first Africa Climate Summit here in Nairobi. The summit culminated in the Nairobi Declaration on Climate Change and Call to Action, which set out our vision as Africans for climate-positive economic growth and development on our continent. It also called for the urgent reform of the global financial architecture to rectify its current deficiencies and modernize the entire system to meet the development needs of the majority in the 21st century.
Global leaders are in agreement that there is need to strengthen partnerships and relations in addressing the 3 planetary crises of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution.
We cannot push back with the force required if we are divided. True strength comes from unity. Think of the planetary cycles, not electoral cycles. Think long term, look beyond the horizon. Remember that if my air is dirty, if my climate is changing, if my shores are awash with plastic, yours are too.
40% of the world's population is suffering from ecosystem degradation, requiring immediate action. We are here to ensure that multilateralism is strengthened to deliver solutions critical to tackling the planetary environmental crisis.
As decisions are being made here, the Assembly has been advised to ensure action and implementation of such decisions, as that is the only way the world can make strides in saving the environment and mitigating the effects of climate change. Batami Malabe, BTV News, Nairobi, Kenya.
Still in Kenya, President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi met his Kenyan counterpart, Dr. William Ruto, for bilateral talks aimed at strengthening relations between Botswana and Kenya. The meeting provided a platform for the two heads of state to discuss key areas of collaboration for mutual benefit. With calls for African countries to increase South-to-South trade, Botswana and Kenya also seek to embrace trade opportunities and bolster economic ties. One of the areas earmarked for cooperation is beef production. Hence, President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi's visit to the Kenya Animal Genetic Resource Center on Friday to appreciate the country's beef industry as Botswana is on an extensive drive to increase the national herd. Diplomatic relations between Botswana and Kenya date as far back as the 1960s. The Permanent Secretary to the President, Ms. Emma Pelwe-Tletse, has made public announcement of appointments, promotions and transfers that have been effected in the public service. Ms. Bonolo Kumotaka is appointed Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Skills Development. Ms. Bridget John is appointed Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Gender, Sports and Culture. Ms. Diana Marate is transferred from Botswana Prisons to the Botswana Police as Commissioner. Mr. Phemelo Ramakorwane is promoted and transferred from Botswana Police Service to the Drugs Enforcement Agency as Director General under the Ministry of Defense and Justice. Mr. Anthony Mokento is promoted to the position of Commissioner of Botswana Prisons. Ms. Miriam Maroba is deployed to the new role of Coordinator of Public Schools Concessionaire. Mr. Kitso Kemweng is transferred to Botswana Public Service College as Executive Director, while Mr. Boatamisi Mudukanele is appointed as Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment and Tourism. These appointments take effect tomorrow. Moving on, the Director of International Programs and Global Initiatives at Florida International University, Dr. Lagda Bokeru, says empowering human resources with set skills to operate solar systems will help Botswana achieve its mandate of transitioning to the use of renewable energy sources. He said this at the ongoing training offered to 28 facilitators and trainers from local brigades and technical vocational training centers by Florida International University in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the U.S. Embassy. Wabetsui Mpulubusi.
The global village, including Botswana, continues to embrace the use of new technologies as well as renewable sources of energy, which provide sustainable ways of mitigating the adverse effects of climate change. Botswana, through strategic partnerships, made strides to this effect through capacitation of its human resource in order to drive the agenda of going green.
The overall goal of this program is to develop a curriculum that is going to help the schools teach sustainable energy by focusing on solar energy. And this program is to have new students coming out that are going to be capable of doing the installations and dealing with these installations around the country.
The training does not only aim to offer skills transfer, but rather through strategic engagements seek to provide employment opportunities, as this is a scarce skill locally.
Ya no se re se itemogela mo Botswana ke gore mongwe le mongwe hela yo nang le letshono wa tsena ka sola ba kgona go dira that way gore ha go nna le ditshenyegelo tse di nang teng ha gona ope re ka lebellang go ene re renya a mme motho no mo dirisitse o siame sente so re na le background ya gore gongwe motho ka nna le motakase as an electrician or as a mechanical engineer, but ha go certify gore o ka khoma sepe se dilang le sola. It means you have to go through an extra training.
The stakeholder meeting where we invited people from industry to come and exchange ideas with the instructors, with the folks from the ministry. Why? Because if we are teaching a program and a new program, we want to make sure that these new students who are coming out of the schools are going to find employment. And in order for them to find employment, we have to understand and we have to talk to the industry people here about employment possibilities.
This week-long training of trainers will end on Friday, with these 28 trainees receiving internationally recognized certification that will break continental barriers, as locals will be able to compete internationally. Wa Betsuim Bulubusi, BTV News, Gaborone.
The third stepwise approach to non-communicable diseases risk factor surveillance, known as STEP survey, has been launched. The survey will commence next week Friday and will last until mid-June this year. Yenge Malimoyo compiled the report.
Botswana, like other African countries, is experiencing an epidemiological transition due to urbanization and adoption of Western lifestyles. As a result, this leads to the rise of modifiable NCD risk factors such as tobacco use, unhealthy diets, amongst others. Therefore, this community outreach program, coined STEPS Survey, will enhance early detection, diagnosis, treatment, care and support.
One of the reports on causes of mortality from 2020 shows a high mortality related to non-communicable diseases. There were 2,929 deaths related to non-communicable diseases, with an almost equal number of deaths for both males and females.
Most of these risk factors for the non-communicable diseases have already been alluded to. However, there are some environmental factors such as globalization, urbanization, that change the way we eat and the way we do our physical movement from a day to day.
This survey, conducted in collaboration with esteemed partners such as NAPA, WHO, Statistics Botswana, will provide crucial insights into the current level of prevalence of NCDs and their risk factors among our population.
As the second country after Eswatini to initiate STEPS fieldwork, done following different phases of STEPS this year in the African region, Botswana will join a total of 10 countries, which has over the past 5 years successfully completed this approach and reported their findings.
Through the face-to-face interviews, the teams will be able to gather key information on behavioral risk factors as well as screening for depression and anxiety. Physical measurements like measurements for blood pressure, waist circumference, weight, height, and the biochemical measurements such as blood glucose and blood cholesterol will help us gather comprehensive data which will inform our policies, interventions, and resource allocation strategies.
The survey is expected to be done in a period of 10 weeks, targeting over 4,700 households. As such, the Minister of Health, Dr. Edwin Dikoloti, pleaded with the public to cooperate with the deployed team, as it is not only about collecting numbers, but understanding the true burden of NCDs and their risk factors on the nation, so that steps are taken to arrest the situation. Yenge Malimoyo, BTV News, Gaborone.
The Botswana Wildlife Producers Association and other conservation non-governmental organizations say they are against the proposed bill to ban the import of hunting trophies into the United Kingdom by members of the British House of Commons. They are of the view that the ban will negatively impact the livelihoods of communities who live in wildlife areas, as some depend entirely on hunting. Monica Sotwaila.
An issue that has since resurfaced at the United Kingdom regarding a proposed ban on trophy hunting has led to some local wildlife conservational NGOs to issue statements advocating against it. The NGOs are of the view that hunting plays a role in supporting rural communities in wildlife areas, hence the proposed bill carries a substantial risk to many livelihoods and conservation.
In their support to ban hunting in Africa are indeed ignoring the role that hunting plays in supporting communities living with this wildlife, especially employment of unskilled rural people. The role it plays in promoting coexistence by providing tangible incentives, the role it plays as a sustainable tool of conserving large sections of marginal wildlife areas, and the employment it creates. These risks have been corroborated by hundreds of experts, including many leading conservation and scientists and community conservationists.
The NGOs say they are working to ensure that communities with limited income options benefit more from this initiative, which was reinstated in 2019 following the ban in 2014.
The issue of hunting is a way of improving tolerance from these communities to live alongside these animals. So if we take away that incentive that can promote coexistence, we are actually not helping the wildlife, we are not helping our community.
We are not saying the industry does not have issues. We are putting standards as communities, training our communities to actually be able to be proactive in terms of how they distribute the benefits. Just 2023, the communities have actually benefited over 29 million in benefits. That's all the encompassing all the community trusts that are doing hunting.
Next month, the NGOs intends to travel to the UK to further engage in discussions concerning the proposed ban. Monica Saswaila, BTV News, Gaborone.
Defense lawyer Obone Jonas, representing the accused persons Samuel Salolwane, Veronica Kopolelo and Lydia Bujamel this morning filed another bail application before magistrate Horatile Moremi Ramakoloing. Jonas told the court that the accused persons have not been convicted, therefore not proper for the courts to deny them their right to bail. Ungutlule Tamare reports.
Just a few weeks ago, Broadest Magistrate Horatile Moremi Ramakolo denied the first accused person, Samuel Solwane, bail, who is charged with the rape of a 13-year-old girl at Odi Village on the 26th of January 2024. On the 6th of February 2024, the first accused rushed to the Gaborone High Court together with his co-accused, Veronica Kopolelo and Lydia Bujamel. Judge Barnabas Nyamazab also dismissed the trio's application for bail, one of the reasons being that Samuel Solwane's reluctance to provide his blood sample has stalled police investigations, and that if the accused can be given bail, they will frustrate the investigation. This morning, the court was expected to deliver a ruling in an application filed by the Director of Public Prosecutions, which sought the court to issue an order to have Solwane submit blood samples for DNA tests. The ruling did not go through as planned after realization that the defense attorney Obone Jonas has filed another application for the accused to be given bail. Jonas in his application says the accused persons have not been convicted, and it is wrong for the courts of law to continue denying his client's bail. He says the prosecution must file a formal application with the court if they want an order that can force Solwane to submit blood samples. The prosecution told the court that they were only served with bail application documents this morning and they need time to familiarize themselves with their reasons. They also opposed the bail application as they say the Magistrate Court and High Court have already dealt with the matter. Magistrate postponed the case to the 15th of March 2024, where she will listen to the defense application. The accused are further remanded in custody. Unkutlule Tamare, BTV News, Broadest Magistrate Court, Gaborone.
The Special Economic Zones Authority, SEZA, has been traversing the special economic zones around the country. Having visited the city of Francistown recently, SEZA economic research consultant Mr. Gazanani Makopola said Francistown is one of the strategic locations valuable to the country's economy. Faith Ditete reports.
Francistown, the second city, is regarded as a hub for mining and transport logistics, a very crucial location for the implementation of the SEZA mandate, also a support structure to the other special economic zones.
The special economic zone of Francistown is meant to be the one that brings all the special economic zones together as our go-to market special economic zone.
This zone has been strategically placed high linting. You realize what within its 200-kilometer radius, we've got several mines. Renale Orapa, Renale Letlhakane, we've got Damsa, we've got Lekosua. Also, we are along the A3. The A3 goes all the way to Kazungula and through to North Africa, where we've got your DRC, we've got other areas, Central Africa, and all those areas. The intent yone ke gore re kgone go reach a point where as a country we are able to produce and export our equipment, our material to such areas. We also have the rail on the other side, which also serves as the same purpose.
While engaging with various investors, CESA values citizen inclusion.
One thing that we focus on mainly is to ensure that the citizens become a key player in the development of the zones themselves through the cluster initiative. We are currently talking to a number of interested investors who have shown interest in all our special economic zones. And we believe in some weeks or just a few months, some of the major decisions and milestones will be announced to the nation.
CESA is currently doing well on its mandate of transforming this country from an upper middle income status to a high income status. Faith DTT, BTV News, Francistown. The Silibepikwe citrus farm, set to export its produce to international market, symbolizes Botswana's growing presence in the global agricultural industry. Its collaboration with the Super Bees Association highlights the importance of pollination in citrus farming and how bee production can significantly impact a country's economy. Mamusi Siska with more.
Botswana, which is well known for its first-grade beef and animal vaccines on the international market, is now adding another product, making its mark in the citrus market with the upcoming harvest from the Silibepikwe citrus farm. One key factor contributing to the success of the farm is its partnership with the local bee association. Bees play an important role in the honey production, enhancing the value chain of the citrus farm.
Itoka mabokso 4. So if usually 1,200 hectares, we are going beyond 2,200 boxes more.
We have 20 hives on the stand. Each stand can take 20 hives. At 15 kgs, you can do the maths and times that by 2 and times it by 3. And you can see how much one trailer. I'll get my money back easy. All day on one trailer. It can produce you a lot of honey. The quality of honey that is here is crystal clear. It's colorless, thick, and I've never tasted honey so beautiful in my life.
While often overlooked, the role of bees in agriculture goes beyond honey production. Bees are essential pollinators, playing a critical role in the reproduction of many plants, including food crops. This makes bee farming a strategic tool in maximizing the potential of food security in the country.
Since we are moving to be self-sufficient, and since the borders are closed on certain vegetables and certain crops that we import in, and we are now producing our own vegetables, beekeeping will play a significant part in that, because those guys in South Africa and other countries always use bees to increase their production.
As the farm prepares for its first harvest and entry into the market, the honey and citrus fruit could be packed together, offering potential health benefits.
For having a project like this here, and honey from the citrus to the hospitals and the clinics, and that's where we're going. We want to produce honey from here that's going to go into the hospitals and the clinics for burns and cuts.
The Silibepikwe Citrus Project is the shining example of Botswana's commitment to sustainable agriculture and economic growth. Also a testament to the country's ability to harness the power of nature to improve livelihoods and strengthen the economy. Mamusi Siska, BTV News, Silibepikwe.
In other news, performing artists in the Natagweta constituency have commended the DBS Roadshow for giving them the platform to showcase their talents. The artists who are participating in the roadshow say the project will help position them well in the industry, as well as improve the standard of music in Botswana. Abigail Madorobo reports.
Artists who graced the roadshow highlighted that the project creates an opportunity for them to network and connect with entertainment industry promoters.
Misho ya rasulohela molemo ka mabaka gore e tsamayana e rebola ditalente tsa badiragatsi go itshupa bokheleke jo na le jone mme ebile e re rotloetsa gape mo go tsa go tokagatsa matshelo ba rona ka gore ga re le mo diragatsi kana mo diragatsi re botsaya jaaka ditiro tsa rona ke mokane o bereka jaanong ga re thusa gore re thwagalele go botsaya ka thwagalo
sure ena ke bona le re e ka re sologela molemo because dio tse dingwe re kgone go ita go tsona le mo kgaolong normally so ga ba tsamaya ha selotana ke ntao ja go ka la go isa ditamelo go bathong ba ba lore ba go dikgaolong gore ba kgone ba tswelele re kgone gona re kgone go tswa mo televisioneng e re latetse ko re leng teng so ke opportunity le gore ne se ke ra bona motho go because ha re lekane ba rotlhe ba bangwe ke gone re simolola go tsena mo musika ise re ile madi a kalokang.
The area member of parliament, Mr. Paulson Majaga, says, if well designed and packaged, the creative industry has the potential to transform the country's economy.
We will advocate for these things are reborn and Liota Valituna ho Sonsurhaibon, or is real and Ikatusa more where the global village is. Creative arts, Malasiana Rabona, Mino kind of music, kind of arts, kind of whatever, how you can call it. It's a medication. You become healed. How about depression, stress? So these things,
if we don't change our habits, mindset change,
Artists were urged to embrace mindset change as it will curb bad habits among the youth and set a strong foundation for the career path. Abigail Madorobo, BTV News, Suwa.
The Assistant Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ms. Talita Monakotla, says partnership between government and the private sector continues to bear fruit. Ms. Monakotla said this at the donation of school shoes, socks and computers to Ngang and Munum Primary School by Standard Chartered Bank in collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Nao Muduma.
The sphere of local government is closest to the community and therefore it has a unique role in recognizing and enhancing the identity of local places. Thus, this ministry joined hands with the Standard Chartered Bank to gift 20 computers, 291 school shoes and socks to Ngang and Munong Primary School students.
Dimpotse ke tsogohatso mo go rona ka o ditsile gone go ga bana ba rona seriti kana ngwana ha apere botsadi first appearance ga it counts makgwa ba rialo
re dira mo go tweng ke mentoring gape re tsa di kgang le bona re ba ruta gore ha o batla go pasa o ira jang o bo bereka jang gore o kgone go pasa ha o batla go ira madi o ira jang gore o dira madi o berekele madi o kgone go tswella ka kgantsa madi ne re tse re di kgang le bone re simolotse ka ba class 0 ba 1 2 3 hela jalo go hela ka 7 re bua le bone di kgang tseo tsotlhe ne re dira mo go teng financial literacy le mo go teng academic excellence re tse re di kganna bo re le ka go ba thusa ka se re se dirileng re ba bolela le gore rena re kgonne go dira jang ba re botsa dipotso tse di thata gore
These donations comes at the right time as Botswana is on quest to transition from the resource-based economy to knowledge-based economy, and therefore these computers will enable students to explore various information and technology skills as well as conduct research. Parents and students have been urged to take care of these noble donations so that they can sustainably benefit even younger generations. Neo Mudumwa, BTV News, Ngang and Monom villages.
Teachers have been encouraged to start side businesses as a way to diversify their income streams. The Secretary General for Bosetu, an association that advocates for teachers' rights, Mr. Tobokani Rari, said this at a business expo for Nghabe teachers held in Maung. Mareta Kaisara reports.
Bosetto affirms the delayed progression of teachers, which leads to a stagnant salary increment, leading to teachers becoming financially unstable and affecting their performance. However, as a way of encouraging these teachers, Bosetto has now come up with a strategy to assist teachers to devise a stream of income to augment their salaries.
84%, and they were specific, of teachers are currently bottlenecked at the top scale of salary scale C1, because that is the last progressional scale.
Last time I had a Botswana e mo parlamenteng gore na re me go se teachereng ha re re motho o diegile mo scaling re ra le lobaka le le kae me bile ba kae ba ba le baka le le kalo me bile ba ganeletse mo scaling sehe ene ya nna kgang ya gore nya ke 15 years me ba ganeletse mo go C1 me bontsi jwa bone over 10-15,000 ba mo go C1.
The teachers were also urged to use their free time to operate their private businesses.
Teachers, we have the holiday holidays. We are entitled to leave. Artsen di leave re go bereka. Artsen di leave re magaeng re go bona gore ke ntse ke robala mo ntung ya ga mme ha yana le nna ke ipele hale. The holidays tse tsotlhe tse re na le leave tseng. Ha re chaisitse ka bo half 4. Let's run around.
Bosetto says government employees are allowed to operate businesses alongside their professions,
provided that they have declared their businesses and asked for authority for permission rather from the powers that be. So that's all what that clause says. And the second clause that comes to prohibiting businesses is the one that talks about not having businesses within the premises of the employer. What it just means is that you cannot turn a government pool house into a business locality. You cannot use school premises, for example, in the case of teachers, to do business.
The teachers also had the opportunity to talk to the financial advisors, consultants, and financial institutions to assist them in conceptualizing their business ideas. Martha Kaisar, BTV News, Maung.
The Northwest District Council Chairman, Mr. Itumeleng Kilebetsing, has encouraged Ninive Apostolic Daily Mission congregants in Maung to register for general elections during the supplementary registration period. The chairman said this during a clap and tap musical event that was organized by the church to raise funds. Marangani Samakata reports.
The church is considered the bedrock of human life, from which principles and morals are drawn for one to be in harmony with others and their surroundings. Mr. Kilebetsing emphasized the importance of the church, highlighting its responsibility as a key player in the formation of a democratic government that cherishes peace and unison. The church embraces its responsibility to nurture human life, albeit financial constraints and other relevant resources.
Bokereke ke yona mama mo teng ga botshelo ebile bokereke bo aga motho gore motho a togele dio tsa selehatsi a itebaganye le dio tsa modimo jaanong he mo nako ya gampieno ha re hano ka go dira maetsana re ka dirang gore re tsose bokereke jwa rona dikago dingwe tse re ka di dirang go gongwe e re mo go tswelele re bona gore nya me re tshwere sengwe bo re bone mongwe hela yo o ntseng ja yo thokang re bone gore re mo thusa jang
re ka bitsa re kwa re motshelo ke dumela gore dikhwaere tse ra tshellana gore ha re ya ka gompieno go hostile rona yana dikhwaere tse dingwe di eta di a re tshologa le rona ka moso ga ba bangwe ba re biditse ra go ba tsholo gore ke nka e buela ke re ke motshelo wa go thusana ka gone gore re kgone go thabolla bokereke jwa rona.
The supplementary voter registration exercise will run from February 26th until March 15th and can be done at designated registration centers for various constituencies. Maranyane Samakata, BTV News, Maung.
The Director of Education in Kalahari, Ms. Maipilo Kesenye, says the Standard 7 results in the region have improved since the introduction of reception class years ago. Ms. Kesenye credits the improvement in results to the strong foundation laid by the reception class that children are able to use throughout their learning years.
The reception class at public schools was introduced 12 years ago as a remedial intervention to address poor educational performance in primary schools. The class covers academic skills and also helps children to develop their motor skills in preparation for Standard 1. Ms. Kesenye says reception classes are taught by teachers with early childhood qualifications, partnered with a teacher aide to assist with language moderation.
I go 68.5.
Our results improved from 64% to 68% since reception classes were introduced, and we've kept that momentum. They're able to go around the school without issues because we teach them to be comfortable and we teach them how to navigate their surroundings. The reception class teacher at Hereford Primary School, Mr. Tabiso Kijelahami, says to teach reception classes requires love and patience.
I become a father figure.
I'm not only a teacher, but a father figure to some. You have to be calm around children. They don't like loud people.
We provide a conducive environment.
I'm MA girl. I'm 5 years old. My teacher is Mr. Gislepan. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
Reception classrooms are labeled with words and colorful images to stimulate children's curiosity and encourage them to learn directly from their environment. One of the daily routines is ensuring that they have adequate playtime and the need for physical activities. BTV News, Bray.
The Department of Animal Production has pleaded with residents of Okavango region to come forward in large numbers to sell their donkeys for the Bubira restocking exercise. This was said by the Ministry of Agriculture Public Relations Officer for Central Region, Mr. Cliffas Kemiso in Shakawe, highlighting that the exercise is done to compensate Babura farmers who lost their livestock due to cross-border theft. Tumisang Kenatlilo reports.
After Babura lost their livestock due to cross-border theft, government vowed to compensate the victims. The restocking exercise in Okavango district started on the 23rd of this month and is expected to end tomorrow. The target number of donkeys to be bought is 296. However, only 86 donkeys have been purchased.
Presidential Commission ena ntshwa 2021 yene e lebelela gore ka nte mme go telela ga leruo ka kwa kana go tsewa ka leruo ka kwa le tswa mo Botswana le ya ka kwa Zimbabwe go diragala jang ebile batho barui ba kwa ba amega jang mme lekoko leo rile le sena go hetsa tiro ya lone e ne e rumilwe goromente a tsaya tshwetso ya gore a phimole dikeledi babirwa bao ba ba neng ba utswelwa leruo kana ba tseelwa leruo goromente a ba re go siame gore re tla ba rekela leruo a ba tswa gore ba simolole ba rue gape ka ene ntse le barui mme ba ne ba amogilwe leruo la bone.
A major challenge faced by the department in the restocking exercise is the high prices charged by farmers who are eligible to sell their donkeys.
Bontsi ja bone ba lela ka thwathwa gore e ko tase kana Batswana be tshole ga kologolo gore re reka donki ka 850 pula yaano bone ba eletsa gore bogolo ha ne le bo 1000 bo 1.5 jalo ja.
The Babirwa restocking exercise continues in other parts of the country, not limited to donkeys but goats, cattle and sheep. Dumisang Kelatlile, BTV News, Mohembo.
It is now time for sports with Tato Titi Kosumore Titi.
Good evening, Komutso. How are you?
Please proceed.
Thank you, Komutso. This is Botswana Tonight sports segment brought to you by Tato Kosumore. Thank you for joining us. Let's jump straight into our top story tonight. Local motorbike hero Ross Branch won the 163-kilometer stage 3 of the Abu Dhabi Challenge in a time of 3 hours 36 minutes. Ross has shown improvement in the competition as he secured the 6th spot on the first stage and 3rd position on the second stage. Konrad Dabrowski finished in 3 hours 39 minutes to claim a 2nd position.
Lots of wet dunes in the morning, so I could see the lines from Aaron and the guys opening this morning, so made it a little easier for me. And then, about kilometer 100 at refuel, we all grouped together and then just rode together all the way back to the bivouac. So, all in all, it was a good day. I had a lot of fun and feeling good on the bike, feeling comfortable and looking forward to the last 2 days.
The Mets finished off their training camp in Turkey with a physical assessment session where players were addressed on their physical status last night. After 9 days of activity punctuated by 2 games, the Mets finally concluded their camp in Antalya, with the coaches and players expressing positivity about the camp. Following the assessment, players have been made aware of their physical strength and have been given recommendations to work on their weakness before they could engage in another camp. The training session was seen as a success by different parties.
The most important part, which is 80%, part nutrition, and nutrition they need to know, they need to be guided. So going forward, ke banetse assignment ya gore ba khone go dirisa even if ha re tswa mo camping re khone go a go ditlabong tsa bone re ba thuse re lebelle re bue le other fitness coaches tsa ba leng kwa gore ba ba thuse yang tota. To wrap everything up, this training camp has taught me, number one, ka gore ke la ntla ke dirisanya le bone. It has taught me a lot of things. I need to go assess how can I be able to help them. We need to work on our strength training, because we're playing with countries like Bonobo, Russia. Physically they are strong. For us to be able to compete with such, we need to build a lot of strength. Alien thing.
And overall, I would say it's been a very productive camp, and we need to have more camps of this caliber so that we can be able to measure in terms of progress, what is it that we need to change, what is it that we need to improve, and from here is to sit down with the technical team, the video analyst included, and see what needs to be improved in detail, and see how we can help develop individual players within the game model so that they also contribute to performance of the team.
Mo eleng gore e tla re ha re tsena ko gae kwa be re bankanyetsa mo go gone. Preparations went well. The team is ready, the morale is high on camp. Technically and tactically, we are fine. We just have to brush off rebanganye here and there. We want to do this, which means we are going to need players who are committed, who are passionate, and most importantly, banaling discipline.
Coming back home, Botswana Football Association, in collaboration with UNESCO and the Ministry of Education, has launched the FIFA Football for Schools program in Good Hope Village. The program is targeted at developing well-rounded leaders, instilling life skills, and developing cognitive, emotional, as well as physical skills. Pel Puduhudu.
According to Botswana Football Association coordinator Terry Khabeng, the program encompasses life skills component, and it was targeted at giving boys and girls the opportunity to discover their skills at a young age. 5 primary schools have been chosen in Good Hope district to pilot the program, targeting children aged between 6 to 12 years.
nka bua gore nako le nako ke ene first choice ga gona gope ha ene gore o ka batla wa ikela teacher le second choice.
Women Development Officer Barobinwako said the program fits in the government's will to promote inclusiveness in sports, as it seeks to ensure access to football for all players without discrimination. And therefore, it is important to have professional coaches who will be able to impart necessary skills which children might need to develop in football.
Re simolotse hela ka yone the code of conduct e leng gore e guide coach gore coach tshwantse gore e be le motho yo itshwarang jang mo setšhabeng for him to earn the respect of the community, le gone gore batsadi ba khone gore ba mo trust ka bana ba bone ba leng gore ra ba tlogella mo nakong ya gompieno.
Councillor for Mokgobane Metlojane Falaki Mononi said Football for Schools is an inspiring program where football meets education, designed to help children learn essential life skills through fun football sessions to complete classroom teaching and enhance education outcomes.
The one coach said we era khamela player ya tshameka on player ya miss a goal o ja ona player ya sa go miss a goal ga iyo so ha miss a goal le le utlwa botlhoko. So some coaches what ba mo garumela mo maya in front of people, you can't do that as a coach.
This Football for Schools is part of a worldwide FIFA program to be implemented in partnership with host governments and UNESCO, with the target to reach 700 million children across the globe. Pel Puduhudu, PTV Sports, Good Hope.
And then conclusion, Botswana Dance Sport Association Public Relations Officer Tiron Twagai says preparations are going well as Bodanza prepares to host the Botswana Dance Sport Grand Prix, which will be the first Olympics qualifier to be hosted in Africa. The Grand Prix has attracted countries in the likes of Eswatini, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and Namibia. Sogolame Baing.
Ndwagaye further explained that they have been relying on funds injected by different companies in preparing for the event. He further encouraged other companies to come on board, saying there is still time to offer them assistance. Ndwagaye also revealed that to date only Mozambique has arrived to acclimatize.
The main thing that we have encountered, a main issue is issue of sponsorship. You recall that we have we just have 2 sponsors currently, being 10 Star Holdings and Okavango Diamond Company. We still need more sponsors on board because this championship requires a lot of preparations, requires a lot of financial support and staff. So that's the main issue that we are still encountering, the issue of sponsorships. We are still lacking a lot of departments. Therefore, we need a lot of sponsors. We need the support to make this championship a success.
The Grand Prix will see dancers competing in categories like Setapa, Sibirwa, Hosana, Patis, Amapiano and Ballroom Dance, where winners in category will walk away with 10,000 pulam.
Preparations are going well. We are at 95% of the preparations. Many groups are still confirming attendance. We have a lot of groups which have registered to come and participate. On the 1st of March, we'll be at the Game City Hillview area or the Maquis area, where we'll be holding a cultural night. In terms of prize monies, for the traditional dance groups, as I have alluded before, we are giving away 10,000 pula as a grand prize for the Setapa, Seperu, Sibiras, Polka, Namastap, Diware, Hosana, Patisi category. In terms of Latin and ballroom, we'll be awarding the champion of champions, in which the first prize will be going away with 2,000 pula, the second prize 1.5, the third prize 1.2, the fourth prize 900, the fifth prize 600, and the last prize 400. That's how the prize monies are going for both the champion of champion for Latin and ballroom.
The much anticipated event will commence on the 1st of March with a cultural dance competition at Game City before the Latin and Amapiano dance at the UB Indoor Sports Arena on the 2nd. The Botswana Dance Sport Grand Prix has been authorized by the World Dance Sport Federation to be used as a Paris Olympics qualifier. Sawalami, buying BTV Sport, Gaborone.
That will be it from Botswana Tonight Sports segment. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of the evening. Back to you, Khomotso.
Thank you so much, TT. Until we meet again tomorrow, have yourself a fantastic evening.
Thank you, same to you. I will answer your question tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
That was Tato TT Josemore giving us the latest in sports. Let's take a final look at stories leading the way this evening. Masisi says Botswana continues to make strides in protecting the environment. Third stepwise approach to NCD survey commences next week Friday. And in sports, motorbike rider Ross Branch wins stage 3 of the Abu Dhabi Challenge. That's all we had for you in our news bulletin this evening. BTV News, ikanyarona, #BW Mindset Change, Archin.
Project the Panamatengo Silos project. It's a collaboration effort between SESA le ba Botswana Agriculture Marketing Board. Ya ka we itse ke bona ba ileng gore ba le baganya le kgwetlo ya gore ba re batele dijo mo leatsi. So Panamatenga being a special economic zone, gape le one the hub ya the Commercial Farmers Association kana ya commercial farmers. Gore most of the produce selling gore yone ya mabele le some other related grains.